Hello everyone. The topic for today is what is plant growth. So in this topic we will be covering how a seed gets developed into a plant, then what are the types of seeds. For example, there are monocot seeds, there are dicot seeds. Then is the growth measurable? What are the requirements for the germination of a seed? And all these things we will be covering in this topic. So let's get started. What is growth? If we talk about growth in humans, then it leads to the cell division of a embryo to a human being. Then it is basically the cell division which has been taking place. But in case of plants, growth is an irreversible permanent increase in the size of an organ, of its parts, or even an individual cell. So in this, growth is basically accompanied by a metabolic process. For example, it is both in catabolism and anabolism that occurs at the expense of its energy. So the parameters which leads to the irreversible increase in the growth of the plant is basically the size of the plant, the area, the length, height, volume, and cell number, etc. These are basically the parameters which are being taken place for the growth of a plant. Growth is measurable. So at the cellular level, growth occurs due to the increase in the amount of protoplasm. Protoplasm basically, so growth is measured by different parameters. For example, if we take the fresh weight of the plant, then growth we can say that is measurable. The dry weight is basically the biomass of the plant, the length of the plant, the area, volume, and cell number. So these are some of the parameters which are being explained below is cell number. So if we talk about cell number, then if we take the example of cell number, for example, maize root, in which the apical stem can produce more than 17,500 new cells per hour. So this is the example of which I am taking the example of is cell number. The cell number and the example here is maize. Example here is maize. That maize root apical meristems can produce more than 17,500 new cells per hour. Then if we talk about cell size, then cell size, the example of cell size is watermelon. Watermelon basically increase in size by about 3,50,000 times. So the example here is watermelon. Then we if take the example of length basically the growth of the pollen tube. The growth of the pollen tube can be measured. For example, the when a seed or when pollen gets germinated on the pollen tube, it basically increases its length. So this is basically how can we measure the length of the plant is by measuring the pollen tube, the growth of the pollen tube. And in case of surface area, it is the growth of the dorsiventral leaf. For example, when the leaf is small and when the cell divides, this leaf the size of the leaf gets bigger, so that can be measured by the cell surface. So these are all the parameters through which we can say that the growth is measurable. Then plant growth. Plant growth is basically continues throughout the life due to the presence of the meristem. So the roots in the stem grow in length because of the meristem, because of the meristem, and that adds tissue behind it which constantly leads to the growth into the ground or into the air. So here meristems have the capacity to divide and self-perpetuate. So the meristems can divide and self-perpetuate. So this is the open form of growth in which the new cells are being added to plant growth by the activity of meristems, and this is called the open growth of the plants. So meristems leads to the open growth of the plants. So in the next slide we will be discussing about the apical meristem. So there are basically in this we are talking about the primary meristem and the secondary meristem. So apical meristem, it is basically found at the apex of roots and buds, which allow the roots and the stems to grow in length, and leaves and flowers to differentiate. So here is a figure which is depicting the primary growth and the secondary growth. So primary growth is basically which allow the growth in length or the height of a plant. When the plant increases in the height, in the height or uh, in the height of the plant, then it leads to the primary growth, which is called as primary meristem. So this is the diagram of primary growth, in which the xylem is being shown, the phloem is being shown, and sclerenchyma cells are being shown. And this is the secondary growth, which leads to the thickness of basically the plant. For example, it allows the growth in the diameter of the woody plants. For example, if we see the diameter of this basically primary growth, and we see the diameter of secondary growth, it is much more. The secondary growth have a larger diameter in case of woody plants. So it occurs due to lateral meristems, vascular cambium, and cork cambium. So the cork cambium is being labeled here. This is cork cambium. Then this is vascular cambium, which is being shown here. So these are the types of cambium which is being shown with the bark. So this is how a plant leads to the growth because of the apical meristem. Apical meristem is found at the buds, at the roots, which allow the roots in the stem to grow in length, and leaves and flowers to differentiate. So this is how the reference has been shown here for your more information. So how do plants grow? So if we talk about how a plant can grow, is because of the seed. The most plants grow from the seed. For example, for months or even years, a seed may remain dormant. Dormant, what is the meaning of dormant? Dormant is basically an inactive stage. So the process, the how a plant will grow is because of the seed. The seed has an embryo and the basic part of the plant, for which a young plant or seedling develops. So a young plant or seedling develops because of the seed, because it has favorable or damage of the seed coat start the growth. So how a growth is being started, it is because the damaged seed coat, if the seed coat is damaged, for example, it can be because of the fire, it can be because of passing through the digestive tract of the animals, it is because of the falling of a rock. And once the damage is done, the seed must fill up with enough water and oxygen to grow. So there are some requirements for which a seed can be grown. For example, it will need water, it will need enough oxygen, it will need a soil that is prosperous in nature. So all these things which leads to these are the requirements which leads to a plant or a seed to grow. Then there are two types of seeds, that is a monocot seed and a dicot seed. So what is the difference between a monocot seed and a dicot seed? For example, this is a monocot seed which has only one cotyledon or one seed leaf inside the seed coat. So this is a one seed leaf which is inside the seed coat. So that is why it is called a monocot plant, monocot seed. And this is a dicot seed. Dicot seed, it has two leaves basically inside the seed coat. So the main difference between the dicot seed and monocot seed is that in case of monocot seed, a thin leaf, because of endosperm, feed the new plant which is inside the seed leaf. So this is a single leaf which is being depicted here, and it is very thin. And in case of dicot, the leaves are usually round and they are fat because they contain the endosperm to feed the embryo plant. So this is the main difference. And if we talk about the germination of a monocot and a dicot plant, then monocot plant germinates and it produces a single leaf. When a monocot plant germinates, it produces a single leaf which is long, narrow like adult leaf. So it produces a single leaf and it is basically long, narrow like a adult leaf. And in case of dicot plants, as it has been shown in the figure, that it basically has two seed leaves and they contain the food for new plants. So usually they have fatter than the two leaves. So they are basically round and they are basically more, they have more basically veins and more uh, diameter than the monocot leaf. And in case of leaves, the monocot leaves are basically long and narrow with their veins in straight lines up and down in the leaves. And in case of dicot, there are many different sizes, but the veins go from central midrib to the edge of the leaf, and the crossing joining to form a knitted platform all over the leaf. So this is basically, if we talk about the dicot leaf, then the dicot sleeve are basically, the veins are in these forms. They go from the midribs and they just scatter all around the leaf. So this is how a dicot leaf is being depicted. So this is how a seed is being differentiated. Then germination and its requirements. In case of germination of a seed, the process by which a plant, basically a seed that transform into a plant in optimum sunlight, air and water, that is called a germination. So the seed can the seed growth can range within the minimum and the maximum temperature. So there is a seed coat in the seed that has a tiny holes or pores through which water and air can enter. So like any other thing, seeds also need oxygen and releases carbon dioxide until the leaf grows. And if the soil is not phosphorus, the CO2 does not leave the seed, but it will suffocate. So if optimal conditions are met, the seed absorbs more and more water and swells up and bursts. So in this case, the seed basically swells up and bursts, and once the seed coat bursts, a primary root emerges known as radicle. The primary root which emerges is known as radicle. This is how a primary root is being emerges when the seed coat bursts, and this is called as radicle. And once the root appears, it begins to absorb water and nutrients from the soil. So this is how a seed coat has been break down, and this is how root appears here. And when the root appears, it will give enough oxygen and water from the soil, and that leads to the uh, that leads to the rise of cotyledons. And this is how a whole plant will be grow through the process of germination. So there are most of the plants which grows through seeds, but there are also some plants which grow without the seeds. For example, in case of vegetative reproduction, it occurs with roots, stem or leaves. For example, if we see the case of a potato, the potato is grown through the tuber. That is the basically these there is an eye on the potato which when we bury the potato in the soil, it will grows through these eyes, and this is basically the tuber in case of potato that grows through the leaves. Then basically growing without seeds help the plants to cover areas faster, and hundreds of tens of thousands from one single plant can be grown. So these are some of the examples which are there. For example, uh, I have already told about the potato, that is this tuber. Then there is runners are these when they grow from the soil, and these spread into the whole area. And bulb, onion or tulip, this is basically a onion which grows to the stem or root and grows into a plant. And then this is the comb basically. So this was all about how a plant can grow without the seeds, with the seeds, the types of seeds, how the germination process takes place, the growth is measurable, how can the growth is measured. There are various parameters, that is cell number, cell length. All these were about the plants. So these are some of the references from where I have taken and made the slides. Thank you.